Okay, ceramics 2 and 3 students will keep their projects in these lockers. So you need to make a label with your name on it so that no one bothers your stuff. So only ceramics 2 and 3 students will use this. Up here I have my desk where I sit sometimes whenever I have remote students at the same time. Sometimes I don't use it. There's my whiteboard. There's some lovely artwork. Okay, so here's some aprons if you want to use these. With COVID, you need to keep these in your locker so that no one else is using them. We will just clean them at the end of the semester. And then here is what's called underglaze or colored slip. This is for students who are in ceramics 2 and 3 and not ceramics 1. So if you are ceramics 1, you will not use these, but if you are in 2 and 3, you can use these, and we'll talk about that another time. My desk. Here's where projects will be placed when they've been bisque fired. So you will pick them up here, actually bisque or glaze fired, but you will pick them up here. Hopefully they're cool, and you will take them and put them in your cabinet or glaze them and whatnot. Over here, I usually have my glaze box, and you will look through test tiles. My box is actually over there. I'm just out of the way for cleaning, but usually it's right here. What you will do is you will look through and see what kind of glazes you want. See the front. You will see the glaze color. And then you'll go on the back, read the number, what the name is, and then you'll go find it. And there's another video on how to do more of that in detail later. Okay, so that's usually right here. Right here is where you have your clay that you're gonna use. Any bags that are out here are free for you to use. There should just be one bag out at a time. Once you grab clay, you need to keep it in the cubby where your stuff is so not everyone else is using the same clay because of germs. Okay, here's a little clay cutter that I keep there. If you have a twisty tie from the clay, you can put it right there. Okay. All right, here's just a shelf of junk. So any of this stuff you can use. If you want to use something for a mold or a container, go for it. Brushes for glazes are here. These are for mixing your glazes because sometimes they get chunky and separated. So use those sticks. Make sure you wash them off and put them back. And here are some sponges, another sink. This is where you will find wheel throwing supplies. Ceramics 1, you probably won't get to do this. However, ceramics 2 and 3, if you need wheel throwing supplies, they're in here. Here are the glazes that you will use. I'm gonna be honest, they're not in great shape because of COVID last spring and just kind of a wonky couple semesters. They've been sitting a long time and have become super chunky and settled. So make sure you stir and mix in them, all that good stuff. But yeah, they're labeled. Make sure you put them back in the right spot because that helps us all out. These are kind of our excess down here. So if you run out of something, look at the bottom. And then we have black and clear and white in the gallons. Over here is where you will turn your projects in to either be fired for a bisque fire or glaze fire. So as you can see, these projects are ready to be bisque fired. Usually the shelf is almost full before I do a firing. Let's say I find something over here and it's not worthy of being fired. Maybe it just looks sloppy or it's cracked. I will place it down here by the Needs More Love shelf. If you find something down there that's yours, you need to return to your seat and work on it. Change it up somehow, add some love, or just start over if it's really bad. Over here is where you'll put your glaze projects, or to be glazed, I suppose, and you will put them there. It's helpful if you arrange them by height with small stuff to the higher stuff on this end. You won't mess with this stuff, only teacher's aides, or the teacher will mess with this. Same thing with the cart. There's our kiln that we use. Here's a wedging table, so if you need to wedge your clay because you've used it a lot and you've pulled it apart several times to put it back together, this is where you wedge. Or if you just need to make sure you get rid of all the air bubbles. You'll use that right there. This is the container of clay that is recycled, recyclable, I guess. Whenever you are done using it and you don't need it any longer, or if it's dried out, you just toss it in here. We add some water, and then we put it in here, and it makes fresh, nice cylinders for us of clay. So please make sure you never throw clay away in the trash can, the real trash can, just this clay recycled can. I gotta make sure that's on. Okay. Here's the potter's wheels. Only use these if you know how. Ceramics 1, you probably won't get to do these, but ceramics 2 and 3, how about it? Okay. Here's cabinets by class. So if you're a ceramics 1 students, you will keep your stuff in either one of these. Make sure you keep them in your own class and separated so they don't get lost. Rolling pins are here. Plastic bags are here. Supplies are going to be here. These are all clean and ready for you to use. This is where the soaking tub is for supplies. I have a different video for that. They will dry here, and then the teacher or the aide will put them back in there for you to use. Here's some wear boards. You can use these to place on your table, so then that way your table doesn't get as messy and just a little bit easier to work with. So you can use either of those shelves of boards for your table. Here's some sticks for rolling out clay, making nice even slabs. You put 2 on the outside of your clay and then roll it. Makes it even. Here's our slip buckets. That will help you attach pieces of clay. Make sure they go back there. These are the sanitizing buckets. They used to be over there, but now my slab roller's back. So they'll be somewhere for you to use. Basically, you're gonna have sanitizer in here and your sponge, and you're gonna wipe your table down every day after class. Another sink. Here's a plunger in case it gets clogged. And then over here, we have different like wheels and wear boards. So let's say you're working on a coil pot and you want to be able to work in the round a little bit easier. You can use one of these. Make sure you hold it from the bottom. If you hold it from the top, it will fall apart. So what you do is you just put a board on here, put your project, and then that way you can spin it and it's off the table. So those are there. And then any other random thing, supplies, you can look in here. Just make sure you put it back. I have lots of like texture stamps and things like that down there. This cabinet over here doesn't really have anything, so you don't really need to know about that. And then right here we have our slab roller. There's a different video on how to use this. Do not use this without using watching the video first, because you can make a really big mess. So I think that is it. Ceramics room. It'll be your favorite. Just kidding, kind of.